Okay, guys, I don't know if we're live or not. Hopefully, someone can tell me. I had to restart my whole internet, my router, my um, modem, everything. So just the internet went out for a minute. I don't know what happened. It went off on my phone, everything. I reset it, and I think now I have internet, although it says zero in the room. It does say I'm live. Okay, Sarah says, hey, can you hear and see me, Sarah? Please answer. Please answer immediately. Okay, can you hear me? Alrighty. I guess we're good to go. So I don't know what happened. I just know reset it, restarted everything, unplugged for 30 seconds, plug back up, everything come back on, and here we are. So 2020 technology. All right, Aussie Trisha, thank you. Um, so really wasn't even saying anything that important. Just we was talking about the protests, and I was actually showing a video, and that's when everything went down. And it was basically just showing what's going on in Lexington, Kentucky right now. And this is going on all across the nation and even in other countries. Um, so now we have a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, and we're having worldwide protests. We want to hope that the protests remain peaceful. Of course, in certain cities, they haven't. They've turned really bad. Looting. I know in Minneapolis, St. Paul, they set a police station on fire and it burned, and the police officers abandoned the precinct um, because it was just too dangerous for them. There's stores being looted and stolen from, and in my opinion, that's just thugs who look for a reason, um, things like this to happen, so they can go out and act this way. That's my opinion. Um, the world's watching. Well, hello, Ashley Claire. How are you tonight? Hello, Emma. Someone has got SLE, lupus, and APS. Clotty blood put them two incurable diseases together and made them contagious. COVID-19 causes blood clots, inflammation to organs, brain, and nervous system. Hmm. Well, one thing we was talking about before I lost connection was, hospitals are getting paid more. For instance, if they say you have COVID-19, they they get like $13,000. If they put you on a ventilator, you get like $39,000 from the government. And doctors are coming out and speaking on this, saying, well, why wouldn't we say they have COVID-19? We're getting this extra money. Hospitals are always wanting, needing money. Of course, they do have a lot of expensive stuff to buy and maintain and have for uh, patients that come in the hospital, and they want the latest things, latest technology for the nurses. They go to rooms now with their little cart that has a laptop on it. It tells them what the prescription to give. I'm actually from Richmond, Kentucky. Where are you from, Ashley? I got that Kentucky slang going on, as I call it. I got the Kentucky drawl. Memphis. Oh yeah, pretty close. How's it in Memphis? Are you having a lot of protests going on down there in your city? Um, now here in Kentucky, the protesting is for a girl named Brianna. Now, what happened is Brianna and her boyfriend, fiance, husband, whatever he was, they were sitting in their home. Um, they were, minding their own business, doing their own thing, which is, perfectly fine. Um, the male of the household has a handgun for defense, which is perfectly legal. Um, the door gets kicked down. He thinks there's a home invasion going on, and he uh, fires. And he actually fires upon officers who are breaking down his door with a warrant. They return fire and kill Brianna. Now, the sad part to this whole story is the cops were serving the warrant on the wrong house. So this should have never happened. Uh, so in Louisville, there's a lot of protests going on. There's protests going on in Lexington. Like I told you guys earlier, they're also in Winchester. Uh, as we drove through, there wasn't very many. I would estimate probably around 15 people in front of the courthouse, basically holding up signs and yelling, "I can't breathe" and "fuck the police." Um, which we have from freedom of speech in our country, which is great. Um, it's one of the Bill of Rights, uh, things that's God given to us, and um, I just think that things are really bad right now. That's just my opinion. But it's awfully late, and I just wanted to come on for a little while, and then we lost connection. So I guess I'll go ahead and get off here tonight. And I told you guys earlier, I am actually furloughed for at least the next couple of weeks, maybe longer. Work is slow, and I'll be eligible for unemployment. Uh, the thing is will I get it? Because there is a lot of people in Kentucky who are eligible for unemployment, and they are filing their unemployment, and they have yet to see a dollar from their unemployment insurance. And we're hearing stories of families who, have been out of work for 5, 6 weeks, and they're having a hard time putting food on the table for the family. Uh, and it shouldn't be like that. Our government is working on a new stimulus package for the country. They're doing this because what happened was, at first they thought this was going to be over in about 14 days. So the original stimulus package was for $1,200. And expecting this to only last 14 days, they thought everything would be good. This would give people a little bit of money to spend on essential things that they need, uh, rent, utilities, food, just whatever they needed. Now, obviously, this has lasted longer than 14 days. It's actually still going strong. And now, in the middle of the pandemic, we're having um, riots, looting, some peaceful protests. It's just and it's right in the middle of a pandemic. Um, you know, sorry about that. That bracelet kept hitting my glass table, that my glass desk that I'm sitting at, and it kept clinging, and it was aggravating me. So I was sure it was aggravating you, so I took it off, and then I dropped it. Mitch McConnell is one of those people that really, our founding fathers never meant for people in our government to be in there for 30 plus, 40 plus years, get rich, have a salary for life, have health insurance for life. And it wasn't meant to be like it. It was meant that people like me, you, welders, plumbers, electricians, they run for office, they get elected, they do their term, and then they get out and they go back to doing what they did before they got in office. Now, our government over time has become greedy, and they give their self raises, they make sure they're set up for life, and there is a major disconnect between people like me and people like Mitch McConnell, because he has no idea what I go through. He's set for life. Um, I was reading a thing, they get a salary that's in the hundreds, thousands for the rest of their life. Here's what I believe. They keep saying, "Oh, well, people can live on minimum wage. It's been figured out they can make it on $7.25 an hour." If that's the case, Mitch McConnell, why don't you work for $7.25 an hour? And all of your colleagues up there in Washington, why don't you guys work for $7.25 an hour? Since you say it can be done. That's right, you wouldn't do that. You vote your guys' selves a raise every year. How many years has it been since the minimum wage has been raised? Several years, I know. It's been at $7.25 for years. Well, all right, Ashley. Thank you for joining us for a little bit. Come back sometime if you want to. We basically talk about anything in here from true crime to anxiety, substance abuse. Uh, Ashley, I was addicted to painkillers for about 4 years. I've been clean since 2011. So we talk about things like that. So basically, just anything. So if you ever come in one night, there's something you want to talk about, just let us know, and we'll sure jump on the topic with you. But you have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. And but anyway, going back, uh, people like Mitch McConnell, uh, that has been in there for 30 plus years now and running again. It was not meant to be that way by the founding fathers. That's not the way it was supposed to be. They have health insurance for life. They're sitting up there in Washington, and we've got people in this country that are starving. That now I don't know about other states, but I know in Kentucky right now you cannot be evicted if you don't pay your rent unless you're doing something that is dangerous, like you're cooking meth, you're selling drugs. Hello, Carolyn. Then you can be evicted. And the governor, Andy Beshear, he does uh, like a briefing every day at 5 p.m. He lets us know how many more cases there are, uh, new cases there are today, how many deaths they are today in Kentucky. Now, he had told the people, he said, if you take advantage of the eviction thing for dangerous reasons, he said, I will take that away. So basically, right now in Kentucky, if you are unable to pay your rent because you're out of work, just for whatever reason, if you have to put food on the table and you can't pay your rent, in Kentucky right now, they cannot evict you at this point. And from what I understand, this will continue to be the case until the state of emergency is lifted. Now, I know landlords are hurting too, uh, because they've got bills too. Um, they've got employees on the payroll that they have to pay, and if they don't have money coming in, how are they going to pay these guys? So it's basically what needs to be done is there needs to be communication between the landlord and the tenant. I've always tried to tell my son that is if somebody you owe somebody and they're calling you, answer the phone. When you don't answer and you evade talking to them, that's when it gets worse. A lot of landlords understand people are going through it right now. They're going through it too. What needs to be done is there needs to be a communication between the two people, the tenant and the landlord, and let the landlord know where you're at, what situation you're in, and then he can, maybe he can help you. There's a lot of places you can go to for assistance with your rent and be helped. There's churches, there's Salvation Army, a lot of different things that resources that you can use to try to help get your rent paid. And here's another thing: people think, well, I don't have to pay my rent, I can't be evicted. The thing is, though, is when they can evict you, what'll happen is you're going to owe all of the money that you haven't paid over how many months. And I don't think they're allowed to assess late fees on you right now. I believe that was also in the executive order from the governor that landlords aren't allowed to impose late fees on their tenants while all this is going on. But however, regardless of that, they will be responsible for however many months they didn't pay their rent. And the thing of it is let's okay, for instance, people go to court to get evicted. There's going to be the court's going to be overwhelmed uh, at first. There's going to be so many cases. So the best thing to do is keep the communication between the landlord and the tenant going. Don't get in that situation. Because guys, I'll be honest with you, landlords really just want their money. Um, that's it. If you're behind a couple of months, 3 months, and you say, "Hey, I was out of work from the pandemic and I didn't get my unemployment," because a lot of people that are eligible for unemployment aren't getting it. The governor keeps saying that he's going to get this ironed out, and then the same people aren't getting their unemployment insurance. So it's just it's a bad situation right now, guys. So we've got the pandemic. Um, we've got Derek Chauvin, who's uh, killed a black man for passing a counterfeit $20 bill. He murdered that man. Um, I don't care what anybody says. If you disagree with that, that's fine. But uh, I watched it. I can't watch it again. I don't want to watch it again. Seeing the picture of that man with his knee down makes me literally sick. How you can put your knee on a man's throat, a brother, son, father, uncle, cousin, nephew. This man was someone's family. and he begged to be able to breathe. Now, how, everybody says it's a race issue, guys. We're all of the human race. I said this the other night. We're all just on a big rock floating out in the middle of space, and an asteroid could end everything we have in a split second. We're all here on this planet together, and you know, I just don't see. And the bystanders here, had they intervened and pulled this officer off of this man, they would have been charged with probably felony assault on a police officer. And so they don't want to do that. But in the same instance, had they done that, they probably would have saved a man's life. But hindsight is always 2020. Um, so we can always, look back and say, oh, they should have done. You've got three people on top of this man. He's in handcuffs, and you've got one officer with a knee to the throat, neck area. And they say, well, he was struggling. He's trying to freaking breathe. Of course, you are going to struggle. If you start cutting off my air, I'm going to do everything I can to get away from you so I can freaking breathe. Yes, you're going to struggle. And to think that, oh, this man's struggling. Yeah, let me put my knee on your neck and see if you don't struggle when you can't breathe. Just the how we just don't care for people anymore. I seen someone on Facebook say, "Oh, well, we're losing buildings, we're losing property," and I thought to myself, we put a value on property, but we don't put a value on a man's life, and it's true. Just look at it. As a human being, I could not do that to an animal, let alone a human. And I said this earlier before I got cut off. I was reading a comment right there. Somebody said he didn't remove his neck until the ambulance got there. He held his knee on this man's throat for, I think it was 8 minutes and 54 seconds. 2 minutes and 54 seconds of that, he was unresponsive. He was probably already, if he wasn't deceased, he was unconscious from, lack of oxygen. I just don't see how you could do that to a fellow human being, regardless of what color they are, regardless of what they look like, regardless of what sex they are, what ethnicity they are, anything. They're a human being. Um, you've got three officers, and the man's in handcuffs. I said earlier, I said, when you become a police officer, you swear to an oath to uphold the Constitution and protect and serve. When this man had his knee in this man's throat, he is now the criminal. And George Floyd is now the victim. These other three officers who had sworn to the oath to the Constitution should have taken Derek Chauvin into custody and placed him under arrest for assault on another human being, attempted murder maybe. Um, but they don't do that because what we have they call the thin blue line, the brotherhood. And I understand that there needs to be a brotherhood. You guys go into dangerous situations. You need to be on each other's side watch each other's back. But when it comes to you seeing another officer murder someone, that's when, and here's what I think. These other three officers need to be charged to the fullest extent of the law. And the reason I think that is because I think they need to set a precedent and show other officers in this country that if you don't stop something like this, if it's going on, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your career, and you're possibly going to be in prison. And I think that will wake these other officers up when they say, oh, we really need to do something about this. Our asses could he's going to get us. We're going to lose our job, our career, and go to jail because this man won't pull his knee up. So that's my opinion. They should charge these three officers to the fullest extent of whatever law that I don't know um, the laws in Minnesota, but whatever law, the maximum law that they could charge him with, these three officers with, they should be charged, in my opinion. And President Trump on hydro, I can't pronounce that, and the causing COVID-19 so they get paid billions for a cure. Another topic. Sarah, can you message me if okay? Um, I never met anyone at all that disagrees, and everyone standing with them. Christy May says two of them were rookies, hadn't even finished their probationary period, and guys, all four of those officers were fired. By the way, Kimberly M says, Braun, they just told the trucker's name that drove the semi over the bridge with the protesters. You should check him out and do a video about that. Okay, I will do that. Is there any way you can send me a link to that, Kimberly? If not, just let me know the guy's name and I'll look it up and check that out. Why? Which is why in shock they did this. The riots would be more understandable. Slightly had the words "not guilty." Uh, and also, guys, we've had this happen, and we need to go back, guys, and realize that we're the human race. When people say, "What is your race?" it should be human, regardless of what color you are. I think that it's 2020, guys. 2020. If you watch my video from Thursday or Friday night, there's a girl on my Facebook who allowed me to read a poem, not a poem, but a post she put on her Facebook. She has a biracial nephew, and I asked her, and she gave me permission to read the post, and it really tugged at my heartstrings. Carol, what's a SJW? What is that? I don't even know what an SJW is. And I'm not really trying to sound like anything, Carol. I'm just basically talking. I said the other night I live alone. I don't really have anybody to talk to at home, so I can come on here and talk to you guys and give my thoughts to you, see what you guys say back to me, um, and basically get my thoughts out there to you because with everything going on, uh, we're stuck here in the house. Um, Lori, she says the cop isn't going to last long in prison. He'll be put in segregation. They won't put him in with general population ever. Um, Convicts love cops when they come into prison. They're a target from the get go. I understand the mentality of why. But at the same time, what I'm sitting here saying, it wouldn't be right for anyone to kill that officer. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has the right to take another person's life, regardless of what. Now, I do believe in the death penalty. If the court and the jury and you're sentenced to death, and the death penalty is enforced in your state, um, then I agree with that because you obviously have done something pretty severe to receive the death penalty. However, if someone comes to the courtroom and it's a member of the victim's family and they pull out a gun and they shoot you in the back of the head, I don't believe you have the right to do that. Nobody has the right to take another person's life. I don't. I try to think about it and think to myself, what's in a person's mind when they kill someone? What says, oh, I've got the right to take that person's life away from them? I don't get that, and I don't know, guys. I'm just basically sharing my feelings with you guys on what I'm seeing going on in our country right now, in our world right now. I'm 43 years old, and I've never seen anything going on like this in my life. Um, I have looked back over time, like 1918, the Spanish flu. There was another pandemic in like 1726. It shows like every 100 years there's a pandemic. Of course, it was 1918, but it was just 2 years off. And a lot of people died from the Spanish flu. And we're already at 100,000 people dying that have died from COVID-19 in the United States. Okay, let me make a note of that. Bogdan Fetcherko. Seems did is there a video or anything on YouTube, Kimberly? If there is, I'll grab it and we'll check it out. Yeah, I agree, Christy May. It really did. He had a look on his face like he didn't care one way or the other what he was doing to this guy when he was doing this. Well, Carol, that's what the mainstream media is saying, that 100,000 people have died in the United States of COVID-19. No, I'm not talking about Dallas. Basically, like I think Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. All right, let me go on YouTube and check this guy out, and maybe we'll watch it. I can't see your comments right now because I'm on another page because I want to try to look this guy up. And we'll see what Kimberly M has told us about this guy. Okay, I've got his first name. Let me go back and get his. Uh, Venture Co. Okay. Okay, so we'll watch this video, guys. Give me just a second to share the screen. Um,
The Democratic governor's fighting the coronavirus.
Well, you know, a bunch of black people on the interstate getting chased by a semi-truck ain't a big deal because way more white people get hit by semi-trucks on the interstate. This is all a plot by Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. It is.
I don't think that's what we want to watch. Maybe this is.
Hey everybody, here's a video for you. Here's a video posted to Twitter. I'll leave the links below, but this is really disturbing. This is in Minneapolis. A tanker truck with just thousands of people out on the bridge here by the University of Minnesota being rushed by onlookers. I hope they really get this situation under control. This is getting ugly. This is getting really ugly out here. I hate to see this in my home city.
That was odd. Okay, let me go back.
Hey everybody, here's...
Okay, we're going to go to Jennifer Merrily right now because she knows a little bit more about that truck incident. Jennifer?
Yeah, we've been tracking more information. We just learned the name of the person arrested for that incident. It is Bogdan Bashirko. This is his mugshot. This is the truck driver, the semi-truck driver that was arrested for driving down 35W with the thousands of protesters on there. This booking photo just coming in to the Hennepin County Jail. We do know that, he had some injuries where he went to the hospital, and you're maybe potentially seeing that in his mugshot on his face right there. This is another look at when that happened, that truck looking fast, going down 35W, where people are just darting to the side, getting away as fast as they can, then going in on that truck, trying to get him to stop. That truck stops, and in a moment, it moves forward again. It stopped. People are jumping on the side of the truck, trying to get the door open to get the driver to stop. People telling many of our crews across Minneapolis that they were terrified. It was just
Jen, are you there? I think we lost.
incredible to see. I mean, you can't. I mean, look at this as the truck goes down. That again is Bogdan Bashirko. I can tell you that he is 35 years old. The booking, he was booked in on assault inside the Hennepin County Jail. And we do have a statement from the trucking company that we are told he was an independent contractor for. The trucking company says our hearts go out to all those who are grieving the events of this past week. We've been informed of an incident involving one of our independent contractors in Minneapolis during recent protests. Our first and foremost concern is for the safety and security of the public, our employees, and our customers. And again, I'm reading the statement from the trucking company as you are watching video on your screen of just how that unfolded earlier today. It goes on to say we will be cooperating fully with the investigating authorities in the days ahead. It would be inappropriate to comment at this time until we have additional facts as the investigation is early in its stages. We will comment further once we have more information. But again, Bogdan Bashirko, 35 years old, booked in at the Hennepin County Jail on assault charges. And I can tell you he does have a Minnesota address, at least on his booking information. So still working to learn more about how this happened, how he was able to drive on 35W with those thousands of protesters there. This was after 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is when the roads were shut down tonight. So this is the very latest information into our newsroom. And of course, we are still trying to compile more information. Been in touch with them, and we're continuing to gather more information, Frank and Amelia.
No, go ahead. I had lost some of your audio.
Yeah,
Jen.
we did too. Sorry about that, Jen. Yeah, no, a number of things come to mind. So one of them was, so he does have a Minnesota address. They think
Yes.
he's local. Okay.
Well, as far as the booking information goes, it is a Minnesota address.
Because he's an independent contractor from that press release.
Yes, and the trucking company is based out of Ohio.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned they're trying to figure out how he got onto the highway.
Right.
How do they know that he wasn't on the highway already when they closed it?
You know, we're getting some conflicting information from officials. Some say that he was already on the highway at another point, but then another official saying that the blockages, though, at certain points were marked, that there was no problem with resources getting things blocked off by 5 o'clock, because it was just 15 to 20 minutes before 5 that we learned that the time that the interstates were going to be blocked had moved to 5 o'clock versus 8 o'clock. But they said resources were in place and these places were marked where 4 different interstates being blocked off at 5 o'clock today, saying that was in place. Again, this is all information that is still fluid, that is still developing, and we are waiting to get more information about, was that actually blocked? Where was this driver when things started becoming blocked? Was there a path forward? Why was he going so fast? Why, once it stopped, did he continue to go? You know, so many questions still here tonight, but the one answer that we do have is who that driver is. Again, a Bogdan Vishenko, 35 years old, booked into the Hennepin County Jail on suspicion of assault. And the company that he works for giving a brief statement tonight, just saying that the first and foremost concern is for the safety and security of the public, our employees and our customers, and they are waiting before they give them.
Okay, so if you ask me, I mean, just my opinion, if I was that truck driver, I would be kind of scared. I mean, look at all those people climbing up on the truck, and you think, put yourself in that driver's shoes, you know, with all these people climbing up on the truck, what are they going to do? It's scary. And I'll check out his Facebook, Kimberly. I'm just talking about just from watching the video and my point of view on it. If I was the truck driver, and if, you know, you're scared shitless, I mean, what are you going to do? So I don't know. I just think if that was me, I wouldn't drive fast like that. I would just drive slow, lock my doors, and try to get the hell out of there. But you can also see things being thrown towards this truck. I don't know if those were rocks or bottles, or I couldn't tell what they were because they were just flying by so fast. And, you know, then they might break the window and go in on him too. And so, I don't know. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to come on tonight and just share a little bit of my feelings with you about everything going on and kind of see what you guys are saying about it. Just different things like that. Nothing really in particular. There's a lot going on in our country and the world right now. And I hate to say this because you hear it so much, but really we all are in this together. I mean, we're all on this planet and we're all the human race. Let's get rid of black, white, Mexican. You know how when you fill out a job application, it asks you your race. Get rid of that. We're the human race. And yeah, that's just my opinion. That would be very nice if we could do that, in my opinion. But they don't ask me, so they probably don't give a shit about my opinion. So that's the other end of the spectrum is they don't care what I think. So, but anyway, guys, it's late. It's like 1:15 a.m. in the morning, and Christy says her local Walmart, which is 5 miles away, was set on fire today, as was our courthouse. Food Lion had all its windows broken. Oh man. Our local Walmart used to be, luckily in the town I live in, it's not tiny like a one stoplight town. It's got everything you need. It's got every restaurant you can imagine. It's got Walmart, Lowe's, Outback Steakhouse, Texas Roadhouse. It's all the restaurants, McDonald's, Burger King. And, you know, it's just a big enough town, but it's not big to the point where it's like you hear of murders every day. You don't hear of that. which is what I like. Lexington is one town away, and there's a lot of great jobs there, but I would never want to live there, and because it's just not the kind of town I could be in. Uh, you hear of murders every day. The last 2 days, there was like two people shot on the same street and murdered, and that's just not my kind of town. Thankfully, in the town I live in, we have not had even peaceful protesters. We've had actually nothing. Um, we've had just regular, you drive down the street, you don't see anything. Um, our local Walmart used to be open 24 hours since there all the COVID-19 and the pandemic going on. Uh, they're closing at 8:30, and then they open back up at 7 a.m. And we also have a Meijer in my town, and it used to be 24 hours, and it's closing at midnight and opening back up at either 6 or 7. Good night, Lori. Sleep well. And see, Kimberly, we have we haven't even had peaceful protesters. We've actually had nothing. I drive for Uber Eats, and I'm all over my town every day, and I haven't seen anything. Um, Christy says her town is fairly small, not a big city. Not sure how we're supposed to get groceries for a bit. I agree with the protesting, but the vandalism, arson, and theft, it makes no sense to do that. I agree 100% with that, Christy. Peaceful protest is part of our Constitution. Um, but I think, and I said this before and I'll say it again, these people that do the looting, the vandalism, the riots, the setting things on fire, they are simply just thugs who look for a reason, for instance, what happened to George Floyd, to go out and do these kinds of things. They're thugs. They just need a reason, and then they go out and do it. I also believe there's groups that get together to fuel these riots. And that's all just my opinion. Um, so, but anyway, guys, my internet crashed earlier and I was gone for a minute, and then I had to come back on. I've got my summer haircut. It's really short, but it's cool. I love my hair when it's this short because I can simply get up in the morning and not have to do anything to it, and that's great. Uh, yeah, Christy says they're just taking advantage of a situation. It's not in the honor of George Floyd whatsoever, and that's exactly what I've said. They're only looking for a reason to go out and do this, and so that's what they're doing. Well, thank you, Kimberly. It's my summer haircut. It keeps it cool, and I don't have to do anything to it. I can wake up and I'm ready to go. uh, but anyway, guys, I'm going to run. I hope you guys all have a good night, sleep well. Being furloughed for at least a couple of weeks, hopefully I can come on a little bit more. Try to, if you guys want to put up with me. If not, that's okay too. Like I always tell everybody, if you don't like the channel, just don't be rude and dramatic and leave negative comments. Just find a channel and watch a channel that you like. I believe people, when they do that, are simply just people who are dramatic, and they they say they don't, but in reality they love the drama. If they didn't, they would move on to a different channel and not, for instance, stay on this channel and only leave negative comments and make retaliatory videos about me. Just, move on. Yeah, Christy, I hear that all the time. People say, Oh yeah. Well, hey, you can get this kind of haircut. You might not want to. It probably wouldn't look very womanly on you, but you can get it. Uh, but anyway, guys, we're all in this together. We're the human race. Um, yeah, Carol, you have. You sure have. You've been with me since the very beginning. A lot of you guys have been with me since the very beginning. There's a lot of people who were here in the very beginning and then they left. So, uh, with like I said, the dramatic people, they say they're not, but actions speak louder than words, guys, and they always will. Uh, so if you say you're an apple tree, you should probably produce apples. Just I know that doesn't make any sense to what I was talking about, but hey, I said it, so it is what it is. Good night, guys. Love you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to see you a little bit more over the next couple of weeks, uh, being on furlough, and hopefully my unemployment will come through okay and not have any problems with that because it could be a big deal. But we'll see. And we'll talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to come on earlier tomorrow. Um, I will tell you guys this that I usually try to drive for Uber Eats between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Um, and the reason I do that is like that's dinner, that's the busiest time. And that's when when you're driving and delivering, that's when you're making your most money. So, you know, so I usually do like 5 to 9, 6 to 9, something like that. So maybe I'll come on before I do my 5 to 9. Uh, but anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. You all have a great night. Love you guys. Hopefully, I will see you tomorrow. Good night.